Welcome, everybody, to the 21st Keshe Foundation Health Teaching Workshop. The title of this workshop is The Tongue, the Switcher Between the Physical and Emotional World. And today, once again, we'll have Dr. Elia Kostova of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and she'll be describing the tongue, the anatomy of the tongue, and its connection between the physical and emotional world. And then we'll have Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, who will describe more of the plasmatic relationship of the tongue and this connection between the physical and the emotional. Okay, let's get into the workshop here. Let's see, Dr. Kostova, are you ready there?
Yes, hello everybody. It's me, Elia. And today we are together with the 21st Health Teaching Workshop of Keshe Foundation. The subject will be the tongue, the switcher between the physical and emotional world. So we go on with the first slide. And the first slide is embryology of our tongue. Actually, our tongue origins with the head part of our embryo. In the medical language, this is the pharyngeal arch, where there are from 1 to 6, and different part of the tongue, they origin from different pharyngeal arch, and because of that, they have a different structure and relation with different other organs of our body. So the top of our tongue origin from the first arch, and the bottom of our tongue origin from the third arch. And actually from the third arch in the middle, it is the place where this is the seat place for our thyroid gland. So even from beginning, our tongue is with close relation with the thyroid gland, with the thymus, and the parathyroid glands. They origin on the places of our embryo where they are so close to each other in different weeks of embryology. And actually how you see on the cross section of our embryo, all of that organs, they are so close to the brain area or the thalamus area. And where you are able to make a measurements, you see they're actually on one line with our thalamus. So I will not keep you busy with so many triplets around embryology, but just for you, it's important to know that different part of tongue, the top and the bottom part, the origin of different places of our embryo, and actually from the third arch where origin the thyroid gland, the thymus, and parathyroid glands, this is the bottom part of our tongue. So we go to the next slide. Our tongue of the mouth is placed in our mouth. And how we spoke before, that is the place where we are able to take in different kind of state of matter. So through our mouth, we take the air, the solid matter, the liquid matter, and regarding that, we are able with our tongue and receptors what we have in epithelium of our tongue and inside of the cavity of mouth to recognize what kind of state of matter we take it in and exactly where supposed to go for digestion that state of matter. Exactly the function of the tongue is regarding that. This is like a reception of our body to recognize what kind of state of matter we take it in, what is the gas structure inside of that state of matter, and where that state of matter is supposed to go for further digestion process. How you see this is the muscle organ, contain the striated muscles with different direction and actually cover all the bottom part of our cavity area. and he's placed above the oral diaphragm. So he has a lot of functions, not only regarding the motion and the processing of the digestion process, but also he is close to different kind of function like a test, like a sense, what will be discovered forward in our presentation. Just it's important to notice that the muscles here, they are striated. So it means that organ is more closely related with the physical part of our brain. And further in our explanation, you notice why we actually connect the tongue in our mouth with emotional part if he belongs mostly to the physical part of our body and connect because of the striated muscle with physical part of our brain. Anatomy of the tongue is complicated. It is so different part, contain muscles, mucous, many glands inside. The position of the tongue is so specific. It is not by consequence of that place of our mouth, and because of that have some kind of relation with many functionality what he has. Then we go to the next slide. The next slide is visible for you actually where is the place of tongue in cross section of our head. Above the tongue we have palatinum part. This is the palatum durum and the soft palate. They also help in the movement of matter inside of mouth cavity. And how you see on the cross section, tongue is the muscle organ with different direction of muscles. And on the bottom of tongue, this is the diaphragm of mouth area. Tongue is connected closely with the teeth and in other side with epiglottis. And actually of movement of tongue and because he is in connection with the joints and other small bones inside of our head, he is able to proceed the different state of matter to different direction, to go in digestive system, esophagus, or to go to the lungs, our respiratory system, through the trachea. On the right side, you see the cross-section of the tongue and how actually goes the line of the muscles. And the small picture, when you see in some kind of blue, this is the taste buds inside of our tongue. Then we go to the next slide. Next slide is a video, how actually it's a movement and locomotion of our tongue and his supportive function for direction of the state of matter. Could you please, Rick, play the video? Thank you. Yes, so we take the state of matter inside of our mouth, and then how you see on the video is going inside and starts demolishing of the matter with the teeth, and how the tongue just make a way where the matter is supposed to go. We have different movement of different part of tongue regarding the direction of muscles, and with conjunction of the hard palate, the food goes inside of the bottom of the pharynx area if it is the solid matter, and then the larynx cord, they just close, and epiglottis go like a top above them, and then the solid matter go inside of esophagus. This is the completely opposite when we have air, and if we breathe with our mouth, then the air go directly inside of the trachea. So how you see in that video, movement of the tongue, especially of root of the tongue, is so close with the movement of uvula. They have synchronicity in their locomotion, and this is not by consequence. And where the tones go to the root area in direction of the pharynx, on the same way the uvula goes on the bottom of the pharynx. And how you see, this is the point where it is so close to the nervous system. Also that point where the uvula touch exactly how you see on the video the ear. This is the inner ear of our ears. And actually, if you remember from the previous workshop, there is the point, is some kind of specific geometrical structure between our thalamus, hypophyse, and inner ear, where actually, even in the nervous system, this is the point where all the nerves, they cross on that point. And actually, this is the point where the uvula get in touch with our thalamus in physical world. Then we go to the next slide. The next slide is a representation for you of the different kind of papilla what we have in our tongue, because our tongue is with relation with the test. So because we have different kind of structures, what we call in the medical language papillas, we are able to test different kind of tests. Different kind of papilla, they are placed in different part of our tongue. And how you see, they have different shapes. And because of different shapes, this is how we spoke on the previous workshop, the shape is with close relation with what kind of matter that part is able to transform. And if we speak in conjunction of the gas theory, what kind of gases that matter is able to take in or to take out. Different kind of papilla, it is again like on shape of reactor, how you see on the right side. This is the same shape what we spoke the previous workshop. So we have the repetitive model everywhere in our body. Actually, when we take the state of matter, go inside of the test pore, you see on the right side, starts transformation of that matter inside of the basal cell, and they, like a nerve impulse, retranscend information to the nervous system. Okay, then we go to the next slide. In next slide is visible for you different shapes of our papilla. And how you see on the cross section, regarding them shape, they have also in different functions, because them shape give them ability to be in touch with the food for small amount or for a large amount. Actually, in the root of our tongue, we have more lymphatic cells, because even it is called the tonsil of the tongue. And there, everything what we take in our body go inside of the lymphatic system. Different kind of shape of papilla what we have above on the tip and on the middle of our tongue, they relate with our test. So you may see in different pictures even is written the shape of papilla and which one test they are related to. How we spoke on the previous workshop regarding the small intestines and villi, and if you remember, I made comparison with the corals and different shape of villi. Here, this is the same comparison. If you remember the shape of different corals, so in the microscopic laser photography, the papilla also have the so similar shape to the corals, even their function. This is the same, to take in and to retransform the different state of matter. Okay, on the left side of that slide, you see more schematic view of the connection between different papilla and how different cells, they are just around the wall of the papilla. They make it some kind of small technical connection between two papillas, and actually on that part starts the nervous signal to the nervous system directly. And if you remember of the previous talk of Mr. Cash, he said when you just take something in your mouth, directly you have a signal to the nervous system what kind of gums you take it in your mouth. Even this is visible in the physical world, the same organization. Okay. The next slide is a view of innervation of our tongue, because our tongue have different directions of the muscles, and they're in connection with different bones and with different function, because all the muscles need to support all the locomotion of tongue have different innervation. And when the sense come inside of the cells in the epithelium of tongue, during all these nerves go to the medulla oblongata and then through the tracts inside to thalamus. I just give you more schematical view and to not keep you busy with all medical terms. Okay, then we go to the next slide. The next slide is a representation of different kind of tests what we are able to sense in our tongue. They have different place. They are not mixed to each other. And how you see on the root, where we have specific papilla, they are more wide on shape, we are able to test the bitter test. In front of, on the tip of our tongue, this is the salty test, and the sweet little in the middle. On the corners, on the sides, this is the sour test. Also, we are able to make in the middle of the tongue really mixture between the tests. And how you see is again regard the acceptance of the test is regarding of shape of the papilla. Actually, if you speak in your technical language, different shape of reactor will be able to interact with different gans materials inside. Even in physical world of other body, it is visible that consequence. Okay, then we go to the next slide. The next slide is represent for you different shapes of our tongue. Can be shorter, can be large, can be double, it is not connect in the middle line, or the frenulum, the part of the mucus which connect the diaphragma oris and the tongue, can be large or short, can be able to have hair inside of the tongue, different kind of skin growing or different pigmentation, different kind of wounds, fissuras, and coating of the tongue. Actually, coating of the tongue in the medical language is related with different disease, because in medicine, not only in Chinese medicine, have the diagnosis through the tongue. Representation of all internal organs you may find on the tongue, and where we have some kind of coating of the tongue, this is because it's something wrong with that functional system inside of your body. Okay, then we go to the next slide. The next slide is the representation, and to remember to you that everything what we sense and what we accept through our nervous system. Actually, our Gans word, our energy word in the physical language, is our nervous system. What for us is the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So on the left side, you see cross section of two hemispheres. They are in the white blue, and actually this is the cross section of our brain. And if you remember when we spoke about the energy level of our cells in digestive system, that is the same shape of our mitochondrium. This is the smaller structure in our body where we generate our energy. So our brain is like one big one mitochondrium inside of our head. When we get different kind of senses through our sensor organ, we directly interact with our nervous system. First, the sense go inside of the lymphatic nervous system and then reach the thalamus, our emotional part of the brain. And all the signals they spread from that to the hemispheres left and right to interact with physical part of the brain. In under control is our physical body. And how you see on the right side of that slide, how the pathway of the signals go inside of the hemispheres. They make looping, they make some kind of nano coating paths and actually made a mapping of hemispheres of our brain. What this mean? When we take some kind of guns through our sensor organs, we inform directly our nervous system, go inside of the physical part of our brain, and then go in the same during these paths where they are related with specific GANs material. This is like a highway from specific GANs materials. They inform the specific part of our hemispheres, and then that part of our hemispheres trigger our thalamus. It means trigger our emotional part of our brain. And then our emotional part of our brain is in connection with our emotional bodies, and how in Theosophy we speak that we have more or less 8 energy body. So actually our thalamus is the next one tongue for the next one level of our existence. Then we go to the next slide. The next slide, this is the video of our energy system. Could you please, Rick, just show the video? So our energy system, how all of you're aware of it. Mainly we separate in the 7 chakras. This is like stations where the energy just transform. And also we have a central channel and 2 channels around what they make the nano-coated loop, what I showed you before in the previous workshops. And actually, when we have all of them in the right condition, and how you see the chakra wheels, they just turn in opposite direction. They are like a wheel in one mechanical construction. So what this mean? That we feed our body from universe and from the earth, and these 2 forces in connection make in us specific fields and feed our body. Then in the next explanation you see that actually this is the same explanation what we done with the different 5-star formations what we have in our body. So the ancient knowledge and the new one from Mr. Kesh, they are matched completely and have the same explanation. So we go to the next slide. The next slide, we will start to analyze our system from the bottom to the top. So the left side is the organization of the star formations inside of the pelvic area, in abdomen area. So the energy we have to organize up to bottom to the top. So that energy is supposed to have connection, how you see during the different wheels, just to inform one part to another, one part to another. And because of that, we call the tongue the switcher, because it is the switching between different energy parts in our body, or how we speak, the switching of energy between different star formations in our body. So actually in our body we have so many structures where they play the role of tongue. It is not only tongue in our mouth. In that slide, I just put several more common and easy for you to understand organs, but they play the role of the tongue, but they are not only they. So if we start of the pelvic area, actually our genitals, they're completely the shape of the tongue. They have the same sensibility, some kind of the similar organization of the structures, like a muscle tissue, mucus, and the innervation. And actually they switch the signals between the pelvic area to the next one level, where is the abdomen area. Also they're in connection with the outer world, with our inner energy world. If we go inside of the abdomen area, this is our digestive system. If you remember, in the small intestines, I show you the shape of villi, like a shape of tongue. And this is actually on the beginning of our small intestines. So again, here, that part of the structure inside of the small intestines receive the state of matter, inform the other part of our body what actually is going on in that place of our body. The next one level will be our thoracic area. If you remember, I told you that in embryo, on the root of our tongue, starts the beginning of the thyroid gland, the thymus, and the parathyroid glands. So actually, in that place, our tongue will be these three glands with connection with the tongue in our mouth. Even the glands, they don't have a muscle tissue inside of them, but here they have the same function to switch and to make connection with different part of our body. Also, they're in embryology connection with our tongue in our mouth. So when we go to our mouth, the physical tongue, which is tongue in our mouth, which is mostly connected with the physical world, because the base is only striated muscles, the role is to accept the materials from outside and to inform the nervous system what actually go in mouth, and how it's done it when during the swallowing process starts to trigger the next one tongue, what is our uvula. If you remember in the previous workshop when we spoke about the uvula, that the uvula is like a receptor of our thalamus. But actually what is going on? If you remember when I told you the nervous point where uvula touched the pharynx wall, there is the connection actually with our hypophyse. Hypophyse is actually the small tongue of the lymph system, where the part is the thalamus, and the pituitary gland inform the thalamus, which is the last one tongue of our system. And then thalamus inform the other state of our being, what is going on with our physical body and our emotional body. Then we go to the next slide. The next slide is two videos representations of the star formations models of Mr. Kish organization in the reactor made of Andy from Australia. Thanks so much for his work. And I want to show to you just to see when you use star formation of the reactors around the body, finally what kind of shape make plasma in connection of four plasmas, what kind of shape they make. See, this is specific shape of flower bubbles. On the next video, you will see the same shape but just more complicated. If you replace these reactors inside of you and imagine that is your star formation in your cavity, head cavity or thoracic cavity or abdomen cavity, when your star formation works, they make the same fields around and they make the same shape. So actually our body have the geometrical shape of energy, fields, gas material around our physical body. It is not because it's not visible for us, they are not exist. And during the century, different kind of science, they try to figure out how to measure and how to explain the different shape of our consciousness and how that our consciousness actually related with our body. The next slide, I want to represent a different point of view what actually related with explanation of Mr. Cash, even they made from Benjamin Bed during the 19th centuries. This is the science who tried to figure out how it's possible to make a geometrical visualization of our consciousness. And all the pictures what you see, this is the mathematical illustration of consciousness. He made the 20 years approach of the man, and he believed that the man is not physical body. This is the state of consciousness. And regarding your consciousness, finally, your physical body get different kind of shapes. So if you compare with the visualization of Andy, how different kind of plasmas interact, actually our body acts with all the 5-star formations. And during that actions, we made our consciousness. And how these star formations work separately and together with each other, that state of consciousness we finally will reach. And because of that, different kind of tongues what we have is the switchers between different formations and to make one line, one common consciousness to the end what is in regulation of our thalamus. The next one slide is a representation of the further understanding of the breath theory. And actually during the 85 year of our century, other one scientist, Stanley Kellerman, make more common understanding of this 20 years observing of the man consciousness. And he wrote the book Emotional Anatomy, the Structure of Experience. He starts to analyze the body even from the cells, the embryo. Then when, if you remember when we spoke about the different state of our embryo, how we start for one cell, then gastrula, separation, layering, he starts to measure and to compare with different part of consciousness during the drawings of the science breath. And how you see in the middle picture, even he is able to figure out how the consciousness is changing during the expansion and during the retraction. This is the same picture of the magnetism gaining the gravity and the repulsion, what Mr. Cage tried to explain to us all the time. And actually, the third one, what Rick showed now at the moment, this is the dynamic structure, how our consciousness actually forming and also belongs and acting during the laws of magnetism and gravity. And then when we reach some kind of maturity after our delivery on the state of baby, you see how all the star formations, they're on the horizontal level. So it means they have specific working process, they're able to make the specific state of gases and strength of gases. That means that in conjunction with the all formations, finally we make specific field with specific geometrical structure, which is actually representation of our consciousness on that state of development of our physical body. Then when we start to walk, all this five-star formation, they start to be on the vertical line. So this is the completely new conditions for organization of them work. So it means that finally we'll be get the new one geometrical picture of the plasma fields around us and the new state of consciousness. He goes further with his explanations. This is the next slide. How, and he make a connection between the consciousness of human and different state of animals inside living in our planet. And how you see on the middle of the next slide, even he tried to make a mapping of the layering in our body, different kind of pumping system, what he related with the diaphragms inside of our body. And because of layering and how the energy flow goes in our body, he just go to the conclusions that our body is the shape of accordion, and how this accordion inside of body works. It's representation of consciousness and the different diseases. For him, we get the diseases and we have modeling of our consciousness because different part of us is not working properly. And how you see on the next slide, this is the completely same representation how we consider to separate the human body in five-star formations and how the BZ point just facing different directions. So in his picture, it is visible that when you have no synchronicity in working process of these five-star formations, you get different diseases and you get different changing of consciousness because you just reorganize the normal geometrical view and structure of the plasma fields in your body. So this is for me. If you have a questions, please ask me. And thank you very much for attention.
Okay, thank you, Elia. That was great, learning more about the tongue as switcher between physical and emotional world. I know for myself, I never conceived of the tongue as performing the functions that you speak of. It's quite amazing. Okay, just wonder if you have any questions on the Skype call. I did have one question of when you showed the various chakras and fields and the different postures that in the last slides and so on. I'm wondering what steps we can take to increase the fields or strengthen the fields that we see in terms of the tongue. What can we do?
Yeah, actually, tongue in Chinese medicine, this is the main organ. This is the connection. He connect governed meridians. If you're aware of them, it is one goes through the spinal cord, and other one is come in front, in the middle of body. And when you touch the point between the upper incisors in the hard palate with the tip of the tongue, you just close your energy system in cycle. So the mostly when you sit normally, all the time your tip of the tongue is on that place because your energy system supposed to go and your energy flow supposed to go in cycle. If you make this exercise, just close your mouth normally and see where your tongue is sitting now. It is exactly there. And this is because the tip of the tongue, also the tongue is sensor organ of the heart. And how you know that all the hearts, they're in connection with the thalamus, what for us is our emotional main heart in the brain cavity. So if you make the connection with all the tongues, they have the same work like heart in the star formation of the thoracic area. So actually, you need this synchronicity in the field with all the part of your body. And all, if we speak about the energy fields, to synchronize the works of the channels, meridians, chakras. If we speak on the more deep level regarding the cache technology, we're supposed to have the real connection and working and positioning place of our star formations. You understand? And how they position to each other. So that all of the time is the tongue in all the knowledge from ancient up to the now. This is have only that function, just to close the lines, to close the pathways of the energy of the plasma fields, to interact with the next one level, to retranscend the information to the next one level of control, actually. And then thalamus retranscend the information from other state of our banks. It is more clear now for you.
Thank you. Yes, that was interesting. I have another question. What happens when in our body when we say something tastes good? That meal tasted good, or this food tastes good. Is that what goes on when that happens? Just briefly.
Yeah, this tastes good because you need to take inside of you that kind of gas. If we speak regarding KF technology, you are missing that gas, you have a lack of that gas. So when you take it, you feel satisfied. You understand? And you express your joy.
But what is okay. I guess the connection is with the emotional part of the brain, as you described in the workshop.
Yeah, everything is emotion. Your satisfaction, it's emotions. You do everything to satisfy your emotional part. Your physical part is slave of your emotional part, if I may say that comparison.
Okay. Other questions from the Skype? I'll look in the live stream. I don't don't see any offhand there. Maybe we should proceed into the next part of the workshop.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Elia. That was great. Mr. Kesh, are you ready to go there? We'll go into the second part of the workshop.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to, as we say, anywhere and anytime you're listening to this. Thank you very much, Dr. Elia. That was very nicely presented. And in a way, you haven't left much for me to explain.
No, it's everything for you, sir. No.
Now you're getting better and better gradually. I have to stop teaching. So the process of the tongue is very interesting from different aspects point of view. First of all, I have to, before we go into our presentation, I have to just make a small note here. This is the first workshop which we are presenting from the Institute, Keshe Foundation Institute, in partnership with Lund University, from the site of the university. At the moment, we have only one student, which is sitting and looking out. But in due course, in May, we will have as we have announced, we will have the students, or what we call the executive knowledge seekers, to be added to the institute. Today is our first day, more or less half a day. We started, moved into the university today. So in due course, all the advertising for the students and in conjunction with the Lund University will go out. And I would like to thank all the people who work in the background to make the creation of this institute into university structure very much for what you've done and in what has been achieved. It's been a collective work over 2 or 3 years. In so many directions of the foundation, which will develop from now on as an institute, is the fact that teachings like this, like the medical part, the health side, and others will be kept and be presented live with the students in their classroom. We will not be isolated, and even today we are sitting in one of the classrooms to present this what we call the workshop. In due course, the videos of the university and their promotion will be released by the university team of the Keshe Foundation. Going back to what Dr. Elia started with the tongue, it has to be said that tongue is one of the most vital and important organs in the whole structure of the body of the man. It is so important that in the process of the creation, the body of the human being and other animals which possess this structure have given it its own core system. If you look, you have the top, the roof of the mouth, and you have the bottom. And in so many ways, if you go back to the reactors we built, the tongue is like the center core which is hanging in the middle. The body of the man, the structure of the body of the man considers tongue as so vital that it needs its own core system. In fact, the only difference between this and the cores we have in the star formation and the rest is that we add gases to it or we feed liquid into it as the shape of a liquid as gans. This is exact operation of the mouth. The only difference with this reactor is that it has given its own system control for two effects. The way it is set, the top of the mouth, absorbs energy which are in a matter state strength, because it's the only time that the energy of the matter state can be absorbed by the body before it gets converted to nanostructure. When you drink a liquid or when you chew a matter, this is the only time that you release matter strength energy in the body of the man. And this energy is so vital in the whole structure that the body itself needs it for the sections of the body which convert to matter to have access to matter strength. Even though the GANs matters convert into the GANs of the matter, but they still need that final energy in the matter state for it to behave and to look to be matter. Everything else, once passes the mouth, it changes its energy into a GANs state for conversion. In the mouth, the energy in the state of matter is absorbed by the body, even in respect to emotional part. And in reality, the attachment of the man to physicality in so many ways comes through the structure of the mouth. Because it's the only place, more or less, which the body takes in matter state inside itself. We touch matter, we live along the matter, but we don't digest matter in such. But in the mouth, it's the time when we absorb it, we digest it, we accept it, and this energy is needed. For example, when the GANs converts into like nails, the hair, even on the skin. Otherwise, there'll be a big difference between the matter and the GANs. So the last layers of the body, through the emotion, which absorbs through the blood vessels in the tongue, transfer this energy in the state of matter for the physicality of the body. So we have a core which is for the conversion or absorption of the matter state energy before it becomes GANs to be absorbed as a plasmatic gravitational magnetic field in a GANs state. What does this do? What is the behavior of the tongue? The behavior of the tongue is to indicate the expectation and what the body needs to receive from the environment as food. How this exactly operates is that we think, because the emotional body does not need, but the physicality does, we think about the fruit, we think about an item to eat. Then the structure goes from the physical part of the brain to the mouth, that there is a need for such a thing. That's what we say your mouth waters. Because then it shows the intention, what to do, and the energy for it is there. But one of the most important characteristics and work of the mouth is conversion of gases, energy into GANs energy. The nose does part of this job. That's why we have a connection between the nose and the mouth. Gases odors. Odors are diamond structure of gas. In a way, very much ready to be converted into the gas at the level of the pores of the tongue, which each pore on the tongue, as what Dr. Elia explained, are different strength gravitational magnetic field systems which match what is available in the world of the man on earth. So the work of the tongue is not just passing through the what you call food structure and absorb of the energy of the matter. One of the prime jobs of the tongue is the conversion of the energy of gases, odors. And each odor, we taste sometime the odor because it's a gas. It's the time when we convert energy of a gas into a plasmatic gravitational magnetic field level that the body absorbs. Tongue has a huge operation. It's one of main jobs after the nose is to convert gas energy into plasmatic energy. You can't swallow gases into your lung because you don't taste them. You can't swallow gases and then convert them in your stomach. It's the job of the mouth and especially the tongue to convert gas energy into useful energy for the body of man in a Maghreb state, in the Gans state of the gas. This is one of the reasons we call it gas. Gases in the nano state. You digest food to convert it into a nano state, to convert it into a gas that in like a gas state is atomic structure, in a gas state to release its energy. But the mouth does this automatically because the gases go nowhere but except in the mouth. And the gases are one of the main part of the sources of the energy which we take in. We take a lot of energy in a conversion from the gas into plasmatic gravitational magnetic field through our tongues. It's very much the behavior of the tongue is like the free plasma. It's like when you start rotating your reactor and you see the plasma, free plasma in the center. Because this is the point where the gases come in. We see the same structure in the gas-filled reactors, the original, what we call nuclear reactors, which we have. Tongue, as part of its main function, is conversion of gas energy into absorbing energy for the body of the man. That's why I always say what you eat physically is not more than 20% of the energy daily use. The air you breathe in is full of food, is full of energy. Food as an energy source. And the conversion of that energy, majority of it comes in the back of the tongue. When you breathe air in, you transfer the plasmatic magnetic field for the emotional part. But as it goes in, it delivers so much energy to the physical part from the air too, which is absorbed, digested directly by the tongue. That's why you see different structure in the back of the tongue than the front of the tongue. There has been an assumption, and somehow it seems to be corrected, that different sections of tongue are for specific tastes, sweet and sour. Recent science has proven to be a fallacy, because the tongue works on a plasma condition. We've been told this front is salt and the middle front and the center is sugar, sweet. The tongue does not work this way. All the pores which are on the tongue have the capability to taste any taste, but depends how they are structured and what gravitational magnetic field they produce. If you go back, because just while Dr. Elia was stating this, I immediately went on Wikipedia and I showed to the knowledge seekers that even on Wikipedia they tell you this was a assumption which was made in 19th century.
Mr. Kesh, I noticed in the picture on the live stream now, the left side where the tongue shows the different points for bitter and sour and so on is different than the one on the right side. So obviously there is confusion about that.
Yes, this was an assumption which was made in original assumptions in biology. But now, if you go on the Wikipedia and put the tongue in the first paragraphs, they refer to this as well. Because different people have or taste different materials in different part of the tongue. We don't all smell and taste the same thing in the same position. It very much depends on the emotion as much as the physicality condition. If you are emotionally, that's in a way, that's why a lot of people lose the sense of taste. Because, and Dr. Elia has explained it, or we can expand on the knowledge, your sense of smell through a nerve system is connected to your taste because of the amount of energy which is transferred by gases, by odor into our body, which we absorb and we breathe. So how do we taste sweet at the front, where the smell or the sweetness comes through the smell in the back of the tongue? This gas doesn't get pushed to the tip. This was an assumption which was made in the last centuries, and scientists are correcting it slowly. So the structure of the tongue brings in a vast amount of information and energy at the same time. And the amount of blood which goes through the tongue and around the tongue, and the way the blood gets to the tongue, shows the importance that the emotional part gives to this organ. In so many ways, once you lose the taste, which means in fact you still taste, but it's monotonous, that the body switches off. In the plasma technology, you can bring the taste back. In plasma technology, you can bring the smell back. We've done this a number of times. Because through the development of the new technology, we allow the body to receive, in effect, a plasmatic gans at the point of interaction. And then what we call like a potential difference between front and the back, create and forces for the brain to understand in a GANS state and start responding to different gravitational magnetic fields from the systems we develop. We understand the structure of the tongue and the working of the tongue a long time ago, and we have done a number of trials to prove that you can return people who have lost their taste or their smell. Is by changing gravitational magnetic field of the odor, not the water. The total structure of the tongue, it's very much the structure of a leaf. If you go back on the video of the CO2, we show the two sides of the leaf, how they absorb CO2 from the environment. The two layers between the back of the tongue and the top of the tongue allow certain type of energy to be absorbed, which connects the physicality with emotionality. It's the only point that gravitational magnetic field can cross between the emotional strength and physical strength. That's why the tongue in one part is connected to thalamus and to the heart. Through the physicality of the heart, it goes back to the physical part. As a lot of you know, in the time of a stroke, when the physical part of the heart is in trouble, the tongue pulls back to the back of the throat. This is one of the first signs of heart attack. This is the time when you understand, or the body decides, emotion wants to be separated from physicality, because physicality cannot accept the stress of the emotions which are created. When you get a hard pull in your tongue to pull back, it's just like the throat, the tongue is getting pulled into the back of the throat. It's a special pressure. This is the parallel to the showing the problems with the heart. The physicality cannot handle the emotion. In a way, it's the warning to the body, to the physical side or to emotional side. From the physical side, I cannot handle what you're trying to digest, or what you're not allowing us as a physical part to process. It's in a way, it's like somebody pulling your leg, do not cross, or like you're holding a child while it's crossing, you pull a hand to give a shake, don't cross. There is a problem. The only way that the brain, the emotional part, in working in the heart with the physical part, the physical part explains to the emotional part, I cannot go, you have to slow down, or there is a problem. Because it cannot speak, but it shows it through the tongue, which is a connection. It's the only direct connection between the physical and emotion, which is a core of its own. Then whatever you see as a shape, as a structure, how the taste is absorbed or what comes in, it's all the process, as we said, is a physicality which in a way converts energy from the body into the gas state, into the blood system. The energy which is absorbed by the tongue is directly delivered into the blood system and into the physical system. The tongue is a conversion system, it's another intestine, but only for odors and gases which enter the body of the man. Because we have no other way to do it. We have no other way to absorb energy of the environment which we were created from. You extract, you convert what you need from it, and then you reject it, or we allow the surface what is not in need of goes back. Just take a deep breath and follow where the wind goes. It touches the back of your throat, the top of the back end of your mouth, tongue. That's the point where the energy is delivered. We have no other system for the conversion of gases, energy, and what we call odor in a way, because it's a smell, except in the back of the throat, in the back of the tongue. And that's why when you look at the pictures which Dr. Elia has shown, you have a very big surface, because these have to be big reactors that can interact immediately. If you had very little reactors next to each other, they have to get in between them. The big pores, or what you call the big reactors, what I call them, are for a constant, immediate, with not much problem to absorb the energy of what is coming in to be absorbed. And then it gets converted back. In so many ways, we use the tongue to show our affection, or to try try to understand if we have a connection with our life, with our physicality. And the only way which the brain constantly is informed is in a physical state is through the touch of the tongue with your teeth. Because it's the more or less the only matter state which is within the body, we are physically in contact all the time. Teeth have the same kind of function, but in a different way of transferring energy. In so many ways, if you go to the physical structure of the tongue, because it shows the state of the emotional in respect to the physical, the shape of the tongue can give you a lot of clues about the personality. Because it's the only time which you physically can see the state, how the two are in balance, and what is the condition. The way, as seen in the pictures which Dr. Elia showed, different colors, different shapes, different porosity on the tongue, in so many ways states the state of mind, emotion in respect of physicality. I don't want nothing to do with so much with emotion. I have a problem in accepting the physicality work. This is one of the reasons we use our tongue continuously to keep it wet. It's kept in a moist area. This is exactly like the waters you have in your CO2 reactors, or you have in your in other reactors as a GANs. Because it immediately allows the conversion exactly the way you have the saliva in your mouth is the liquid you have in your lung, is the liquid you have in your intestine. It's the point of conversion.
Mr. Kesh, the picture I'm just putting up here, back to the bitter, salty, sweet, and sour, that's exactly what occurred to me when I saw that picture, was that in our CO2 kits or setups for creating GANs, we have we changed the pH by using the hydroxide, for example, and our tongue is designed to sense the pH, the bitterness, or the bitterness and sourness, the sour being more acidic and so on. And also it's set up for salty and sweet, which are also the next stages of creating the GANs with the salty environment. And then we're also experimenting with the sweet environment now. So I can see a very definite relationship with the reactors and these processes inside the mouth now.
Yes, it's just trying to understand a new direction. As always say, we have to open the way it works, not the way it's been assumed to work. If you understand the work of the structure of the plasma, of the what I call the pores of the tongue, you can in so many ways use this knowledge to create fields which behave like a caustic, or like the salts or a sugar in the water, which creates the GANs. In the coming time, when we develop further, you will see you do not need, as we have seen, we went from the caustic into electric power supply or current flow to create GANs layers, and then further on. In the coming time, you, as I've said, let's go back to some of the lectures a few months ago. You can create GANs if you understand the work of the tongue. You do not need anything. You do not need no current, you do not need no caustic. Because that's what the body does, that's what the tongue does. It creates a gravitational magnetic field which has the behavior of the salt, caustic, and automatically can change it to have the behavior of the salt and the sugar for creating its own gas, which comes from what we call the water and the air. This is one of the biggest points which no one in the world of science has ever understood up to now, never considered, because we use it so often that we don't look at its behavior. It's the only part of our body which is constantly in touch with air. It brings air inside our body. How come we consider the food we put in, we take energy from it, but we never consider the air we breathe constantly brings us so much energy? And then the same air which has a hydrogen, a carbon, nitrogen and the rest converts into an amino acid and other things that we eat. Huge. Some assumptions are made, it could be up to 30-40% of the daily energy we receive is through the air we breathe which crosses our tongue. It's constant. How come you breathe air through your lung and then we've seen how it converts its energy through the saliva of what I call liquid of lung into energy to the blood. But all that air which passes our body, which passes the tongue, doesn't transfer any energy. That's why there is a saliva in our mouth, as I explained. It's the work of the tongue, the lung, and the stomach is exactly the same. And that's why they need a liquid. That they can allow the creation of the gans to be completed. The tongue takes the energy, what partially is short in the emotional part for the red blood cells, and partially what is needed instantly by the physicality. At the same time, keeps that energy at the physical level for what is needed, which is a physical matter of the body. This is one of the reasons the voice box is connected to the tongue. Because the voice box, one of its main functions is connected to the emotionality. If the voice box was only connected to the physicality, we would have said food, air, food, water, nothing else. But through the voice box, through our tongue, we expressed our emotion and we speak the language of our soul. Because without a tongue, there is no way we can express the inner feeling, inner reactions within the emotional part of the body of the man. Even people who are dumb, even people who have different kind of tongue shape, still they have the muscles which moves, which carries the behavior and the emotion of the body of the man. There is a reason why beings on this planet have chosen a voice box immediately connected to the tongue. Because it's the conversion of energy which the emotion part of the body can express. Physically, you don't like something, you kick it, you push it, you walk away from it. But how can you express it? Tongue is the voice, is the tool for expression of the emotional part of the body of the man. And it's one of the most important, vital part. Every animal has it. Because they use a voice box to transfer the understanding of the emotion part of their being. Any questions?
Yes, there is a question from Ivan. What happens to the whole structure when the tongue is cut, as it happened in some cultures in the past?
Phantom pain, and still the back, the end of the tongue is there. When you pierce your ear or your tongue, it does not make any difference because another part will take the function. In some cultures, they just cut the tongue when they want to punish someone. But in so many ways, because they cannot, cut the full tongue to the back of the throat, because you die, you still receive the energy and the emotion will be expressed through it. Any other question?
I have a question regarding the vocal tracts of the humans. Why are ours so broad compared to like apes or monkeys?
Because we absorb and we eat a spectrum of food. And the spectrum of foods we eat create and releases a spectrum of energies that the voice box has for that. The voice box has very much behaves, as I said, both between physical and emotional part. And our emotions are very deep. And the energy we take from the air in our lungs is in the spectrum, is not mono. And the same thing when you eat, we eat variety of foods, and at the same time we breathe different airs, or through the tongue we absorb different kind. One of the process of intelligence comes from the diversity of the food. The physical part, when it gets connected to the emotional part, that's where the intelligence comes. I explained this before in the other talks. But in the body of the man, that assumption and consumption of not mono food, composite food, creates this condition of variation in the voice. These are all connected. Dogs don't eat vegetables. They make a mono salad. Monkeys, which have a variety of food, fruits and vegetables, and eat animals, we see more intelligence with the more noises and more behavior in talking. Because what is bred in and what is eaten in matches the emotional and physicality, and that is the time when it comes the essence of intelligence. Any other question? You got to understand the connection between the intelligence and the development of the soul of the man. Then you understand deeper in why we eat the way we eat and we behave the way we behave. And then you see why people which are vegetarian have a different behavior in the same environment as the ones who eat meat. The odor of blood brings hatred, anger. The odor of blood, with the tangibility of the physicality of the flesh, matches to develop a direction in the body which the two cannot match and creates aggression. That's why we see people which are meat eaters, flesh eaters, especially the ones which eat a lot of raw meat, are much, much more aggressive in majority of the time.
Is it the same for fish meat?
It's the same. Fish still got the blood, but less of it. You got to understand, start understanding, because this is part of the space technology. The only way you can stop aggression and wars and what I call the animal behavior is the smell, the odor, which gets absorbed by the back of the tongue. A fish smells another fish's blood from miles, and he goes for it. Because it digests energy, and that energy line follows it through. The odor of rust iron, what I call it, when it mixes with protein, which is the blood, creates a condition separation between emotionality and physicality. And when the emotion receives its own balance energy back, the two don't match. It's a feedback. They clash. And then when you get the digestion, which is on the same strength, which is digesting the same gravitational magnetic field, because again it's iron plus amino acid, then you get aggression, because the two do not, is in the same sequence. It literally, if I can explain it in a very simple way, it becomes double amplitude. So double amplitude is more power, it shows itself as a higher strength, and it shows itself as anger. It is not that there is no aggression amongst the vegetarians. It's still there, because they eat different but softer protein into wheat or rice or whatever they eat. Because it still is a combination and still has an order. But it's a weaker strength. Iron, which is a more powerful element, has a stronger strength, and that's why anything with the blood which is connected with the digestion system, with the odor, which touches again with what we breathe in as part of it, because when you smell something, it's not that all gets touched by your tongue. Part of that odor as a smell, as air, gets sucked into your lungs, and its energy transfers back into your emotion. It's a very nice, interesting observation. Give a bone with meat into the hand of someone and let them chew the meat off the bone. Then do it with the less cooked, and then do it with the near raw meat, which a lot of people do. Now this has become fashionable. And then long term observe their behavior.
Is this the reason why some people like well done meat, some people like raw meat, or?
That's to the taste, but in a way, yes, but you have to observe their behavior. What they achieve, what some people like burnt meat, well done meat. Ask yourself the question and watch their behavior. Extremely animal behavior, majority of the cases. Because they want to smell the blood is burning. And then it satisfies their ego, the emotion side, that they are superior to what is in front of them because they can eat it, they can smell it before they eat it.
Mr. Kesh, was there a time in the past for mankind where it was more necessary to have that more aggressive nature? And that's why the meat satisfied that need, perhaps?
No, the meats came from packages. I was explaining this, I've explained this before. I was explaining this past few days to the knowledge seekers here too. You got to understand the process of packages of energy. Physicality needs a long-term package energy, which is meat. If you eat a soft package, like let's say bread, takes a few hours. If you eat meat, it takes longer time to release its energy because it takes longer time to open up. So slowly its energy is passed through your digestion system into the body. If you don't cook the meat, let's say for example, it takes about 17 hours or 20 hours to be opened up, to be able to release its energy slowly into the body of the man. When you cook the meat, the energy which you are going to use inside your stomach to open up, to mature it, to produce the right condition for it to open up, is taken from the energy of the charcoal or the gas or the water which you can cook the meat. So you transfer the energy forwarded to the cooking. But when the material is delivered to your body, it still has the same energy. So now you use less energy to digest the same material, but you receive the same kind of energy from the material. So now you have a surplus. And that surplus energy, which man has made to cooking by fire, is used for the man's intelligence, and it has changed the structure of the brain of the man too over time. The wisdom, otherwise all the animals eat meat. You look at the lions, you don't see them talking, laughing and joking and building houses. The only thing man's intelligence has increased in the past time and has moved away from what we call living like animals in the animal kingdom, is now they have found an easier way to what you call extract energy. They do the energy they need in the stomach to open up the matter into a nano layer and a gans. They do it by cooking, by taking energy or adding energy into the system, that when you eat the food, releases a lot of energy directly into the stomach, so the energy of the meat is still the same. But now it's a surplus, and at the same time, when you eat, you smell. Even though you don't smell, the odor of the meat adds to the energy of your emotion. That's why we go for certain food, because the odor which goes through the emotion side matches to the energy which comes from the physical part. Point of satisfaction, point of balance. The air we breathe when we take a food in our mouth or eat the flesh, that air already transfers part of the energy into the emotional part, which then satisfies in balance with physical part. That's what I say. Where do you find balance between your emotion and physicality? When you're at peace. the emotionality part of eating meat is the odor which gets absorbed by the back of the tongue as energy which goes into your blood circulation for your emotional part. And then when it absorbed in the physical part, the two match. And then that brings a point of satisfaction. That's why you get satisfied with eating certain foods. And
Okay.
in space, if we can, let me explain. In a space, if we can provide a condition that what the man breathes is equal to the energy of the matter which he digests, then you find peaceful people. And that's why in the space there is always peace, because we can control this condition. It's pre-planned by the people who put entities in the space. You control behavior of the existence to bring in balance between the emotional part and the physical part. Carry on.
I wanted to ask you now, what if people were eating a bunch of blue-blooded shoe crabs?
Go and ask them. Why, you want to become an alien?
No, it's just a higher energy form, so I figured maybe it'll create higher intelligence or change the brain structure even further.
If you like to eat cesium oxides, you're quite welcome.
I think that those life forms haven't changed in 2 million years or something like that as well, so maybe it wouldn't be too conducive to evolution to eat them.
Any other question? We're nearly coming to the 2 hours.
We've allowed up to 2.5 hours for the workshop if you need the extra time, but we could definitely end it at 2 if you like.
Would you like to see a picture of a very lonely student?
Yes, that would be great.
There we are. If we can get him. There he is. Is our loneliest student in the Keshe Foundation Space Institute, Marco.
Let me get
Say
it
hello.
up here on the
Can you see him?
on the picture. Yes, it's
Marco,
just coming through here now.
Far in the back there, are you learning lots back there?
No, he was falling asleep.
He's a bad boy at the back of the room.
No, this is the first time you see this classroom after May, and hopefully in October will be the same way, but this classroom will become part of the laboratory, but the teaching will be the same. But these are the classrooms that today we came here to do the first teaching from our first workshop from here. And we have a very lonely student sitting there on his own, and Armand is refusing to join him. So we leave Marco there on his own.
And the one thing I will
welcome.
say is that
Pardon?
I'm very much enjoying the internet that you guys have there. It's been a very good audio quality workshop.
Yeah, it's very direct, and what we call online is not Wi-Fi, it's optical fiber. And all the teachings will be like this on live teachings which we do. When we do internet teaching, it'll be like this. All the classrooms are fully equipped with all the facilities.
Great to hear.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Is there any other announcement or anything you'd like to say, Mr. Kesh?
If you are listening, I hope our team in the background can confirm the video for the institute or university will go up in hopefully by Thursday morning session, and from then on you can apply for the place for the in the institute. to be a knowledge seeker. The fees has been set at €6,000 per annum, and we have received already a large request by the Italian community, as we are an Italian-based organization, for them to have a large number of students in the institute. So we have to see, we go by application and what we need in the first batch of scientists. So you can apply for a place, but we know we will meet our 120 seats, hopefully, if we see the things right in the first few months, or we transfer it back to the second group, in what do you call it, in October. Any other questions?
Okay, let's see, we'll have the Spanish workshop at, you see, it's what, 6 p.m. your time?
Yes.
Is that correct? So we'll have a break for an hour or so. Is that what you'd like to do?
We don't mind. We're going to sit here and wait for you lot to come back.
Does Armin do the catering for you?
Catering? He doesn't know how to cook.
Oh, okay. He probably knows how to order takeout, though.
Very well. Pizza and spaghetti. And kebab, he says. Anyway, thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Elia, for your presentation. And
Okay.
Hopefully next week we speak about whatever Dr. Elia chooses this time. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next workshop.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh and Dr. Elia Kostova. And we'll see everybody same time, same place next week.
Next week. Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was the 21st Health Teaching Workshop of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
And where you are able to make measurements, you see they're actually on one line with our thalamus. So I will not keep you busy with so many trifles around embryology, but just for you, it's important to know that different part of tongue, the top and the bottom part, the origin of different places of our embryo. And actually from the third arch where origin the thyroid gland, the thymus and parathyroid glands, this is the bottom part of our tongue. So we go to the next slide. Our tongue of the mouth is placed in our mouth. And how we spoke before, that is the place where we are able to take in different kind of state of matter. So through our mouth, we take the air, the solid matter, the liquid matter, and regarding that, we are able with our tongue and receptors, what we have in epithelium of our tongue and inside of the cavity of mouth to recognize what kind of state of matter we take it in and exactly where supposed to go for digestion that state of matter. Exactly the function of the tongue is regarding that. This is like a reception of our body to recognize what kind of state of matter we take it in, what is the gas structure inside of that state of matter, and where that state of matter is supposed to go for further digestion process. How you see this is the muscle organ, contain the striated muscles with different direction and actually cover all the bottom part of our cavity area, and he's placed above the oral diaphragm. So he has a lot of functions, not only regarding the motion and the processing of the digestion process, but also he is close to different kind of function like a test, like a sense, what will be discovered forward in our presentation. Just it's important to notice that the muscles here, they are striated. So it means that organ is more closely related with the physical part of our brain. And further in our explanation, you notice why we actually connect the tongue in our mouth with emotional part if he belongs mostly to the physical part of our body and connect because of the striated muscle with physical part of our brain. Anatomy of
Welcome, everybody, to the 21st Keshe Foundation Health Teaching Workshop. The title of this workshop is The Tongue, the Switcher Between the Physical and Emotional World. And today, once again, we'll have Dr. Elia Kostova of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and she'll be describing the tongue, the anatomy of the tongue, and its connection between the physical and emotional world. And then we'll have Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, who will describe more of the plasmatic relationship of the tongue and this connection between the physical and the emotional. Okay, let's get into the workshop here. Let's see, Dr. Kostova, are you ready there?
yes, hello everybody. It's me, Elia. And today we are together with the 21st Health Teaching Workshop of Keshe Foundation. The subject will be the tongue, the switcher between the physical and emotional world. So we go on with the first slide. And the first slide is embryology of our tongue. Actually, our tongue origin with the head part of our embryo. In the medical language, this is the pharyngeal arch, where they are from 1 to 6, and different part of the tongue, they origin from different pharyngeal arch, and because of that, they have a different structure and relation with different other organs of our body. So the top of our tongue origin from the first arch and the bottom of our tongue origin from the third arch. And actually from the third arch in the middle, it is the place where this is the seat place for our thyroid gland. So even from beginning, our tongue is with close relation with the thyroid gland, with the thymus, and the parathyroid glands. They origin on the places of our embryo where they are so close to each other in different weeks of embryology. And actually how you see on the cross section of our embryo, all of that organs, they are so close to the brain area or the thalamus area. The tongue is complicated. It is so different part, contain muscles, mucous, many glands inside. The position of the tongue is so specific. It is not by consequence of that place of our mouth. And because of that, have some kind of relation with many functionality what he has. Then we go to the next slide. The next slide is visible for you. Actually, where is the place of tongue in cross section of our head? Above the tongue, we have a palatinum part. This is the palatum durum and the soft palate. They also help in the movement of matter inside of mouth cavity. And how you see on the cross section, tongue is the muscle organ with different direction of muscles. And on the bottom of tongue, this is the diaphragm of mouth area. Tongue is connected closely with the teeth and in other side with epiglottis. And actually of movement of tongue and because he is in connection with the joints and other small bones inside of our head, he is able to proceed the different state of matter to different direction, to go in digestive system, esophagus, or to go to the lungs, our respiratory system, through the trachea. On the right side, you see the cross-section of the tongue and how actually goes the line of the muscles. And the small picture, when you see in some kind of blue, this is the taste buds inside of our tongue. Then we go to the next slide. Next slide is a video, how actually it's a movement and locomotion of our tongue and his supportive function for direction of the state of matter. Could you please, Rick, play the video? Thank you. Yes, so we take the state of matter inside of our mouth, and then how you see on the video is going inside and starts demolishing of the matter with the teeth, and how the tongue just make a way where the matter is supposed to go. We have different movement of different part of tongue regarding the direction of muscles, and with conjunction of the hard palate, the food goes inside of the bottom of the pharynx area if it is the solid matter, and then the larynx cord, they just close, and epiglottis go like a top above them, and then the solid matter go inside of esophagus. This is the completely opposite when we have air, and if we breathe with our mouth, then the air goes directly inside of the trachea. So how you see in that video, movement of the tongue, especially of root of the tongue, is so close with the movement of uvula. They have synchronicity in their locomotion, and this is not by consequence. And where the tongues go to the root area in direction of the pharynx, on the same way the uvula goes on the bottom of the pharynx. And how you see, this is the point where it is so close to the nervous system. Also that point where the uvula touch exactly how you see on the video the ear. This is the inner ear of our ears. And actually, if you remember from the previous workshop, there is the point, is some kind of specific geometrical structure between our thalamus, hypophyse, and inner ear, where actually even in the nervous system, this is the point where all the nerves, they cross on that point, and actually this is the point where the uvula get in touch with our thalamus in physical world. Then we go to the next slide. The next slide is a representation for you of the different kind of papilla what we have in our tongue, because our tongue is with relation with the taste. So because we have different kind of structures, what we call in the medical language papillas, we are able to test different kind of tests. Different kind of papilla, they are placed in different part of our tongue. And how you see, they have different shapes. And because of different shapes, this is how we spoke on the previous workshop, the shape is with close relation with what kind of matter that part is able to transform. And if we speak in conjunction of the Gas theory, what kind of gases that matter is able to take in or to take out. Different kind of papilla, it is again like on shape of reactor, how you see on the right side. This is the same shape, what we spoke the previous workshop, so we have the repetitive model everywhere in our body. Actually, when we take the state of matter, go inside of the test pore, you see on the right side, starts transformation of that matter inside of the basal cell, and they, like a nerve impulse, retranscend information to the nervous system. Okay, then we go to the next slide. In next slide is visible for you different shapes of our papilla. And how you see on the cross section, regarding them shape, they have also in different functions, because them shape give them ability to be in touch with the food for small amount or for a large amount. Actually, in the root of our tongue, we have more lymphatic cells, because even it is called the tonsil of the tongue. And there, everything what we take in our body go inside of the lymphatic system. Different kind of shape of papilla what we have above on the tip and on the middle of our tongue, they relate with our test. So you may see in different pictures even is written the shape of papilla and which one test they are related to. How we spoke on the previous workshop regarding the small intestines and villi, and if you remember, I made comparison with the corals in different shape of villi. Here, this is the same comparison. If you remember the shape of different corals, so in the microscopic laser photography, the papilla also have the so similar shape to the corals, even their function. This is the same, to take in and to retransform the different state of matter. Okay, on the left side of that slide, you see more schematic view of the connection between different papilla and how different cells, they are just around the wall of the papilla. They make it some kind of small technical connection between two papillas, and actually on that part starts the nervous